What is really wrong here in the United States of America? That's a deep conversation. We're getting ready to have one next here on Prepper Nation. Welcome to Prepper Nation. I am John. Thank you all very much for being here and doing all the YouTubey stuff like the thumbs up and the subscribes and all that. Truly appreciate it. So we're going to have a deep conversation this morning on America. What is really wrong here in the United States? And to be frank, there are a lot of things wrong here in the United States. But this morning I come with receipts, or actually Beasley does. She comes with receipts, son. And let's see what she's got for us this morning. All right. It ought to be interesting. She's a much better writer than I am. All right. So I'm going to link this intel down below. It's going to go to Wikipedia or Wikipedia, however you say it. People laugh sometimes when I say it the way I typically do. But again, it'll be linked in the video description down below. And this is a report it's called the Report from Iron Mountain, but it's actually a published book as well. Okay. It was published in 1967, and it's very important because we were talking at the end of last week about, sadly, UFOs and aliens, and I appreciate all of the comments back and forth. There was a lot of disagreement, by the way, back and forth on that, but I knew there would be because people got different ideas about what's taking place. And I respect all opinions on that. So, back in the day, 1967, there was a special government study. There have been plenty of those too, right? This was a group of 15 highly qualified individuals that came together in secret. They put a report together. And one of these people, it's rumored that they were a college professor in the Midwest. Nobody knows for sure. They actually published this report. Again, it's called the Report from Iron Mountain, but they published it as a book. They leaked it out and published it. And so we're going to talk about it this morning. Let me know, by the way, in the comments if you're familiar with the Report from Iron Mountain, because honestly, I wasn't until this weekend when I was digging around. So the highlight of this report, what these 15 people came up with, is that our government cannot exist without war or some type of wartime economy. That a permanent wartime economy here in the United States is necessary and has been since the close of World War II. So these people, they decided, look, we are at the head of the table following World War II, and I would totally agree with that. You know, this isn't me dunking on other countries. I'm just saying it is what it is. We became the world's superpower at that point. And according to this report, the only way the United States was going to be able to stay in that spot, stay at the head of the table, was to constantly be at war or constantly pander to the fear of war and have a wartime economy or something very close to what I would consider to be a wartime economy. And they came up with a short list, 3 different things that are credible substitutes for war. They literally call these 3 things credible substitutes for war. So in other words, if we're hitting a dry period and no major havoc is going on around the world that the United States can get involved in, you can play out one of these 3 cards, so to speak. And the American public is going to galvanize behind these 3 ideas, and you're going to have something that mirrors a wartime economy. So listen to these 3 things very closely, because again, this is in 1967. The first bullet point is reports of alien life forms, which is actually how I found, the whole report from Iron Mountain in the first place. Again, I was digging around this weekend, son, and I found it. Reports of alien life forms. So in the Iron Mountain deal, they're saying, look, if we're in a dry spell here and we don't really have any kind of chaos going on, the government can introduce reports of alien sightings, UFO sightings, things of this nature, and people will look at the shiny thing. This is one of the things people will galvanize behind. They will support paying a lot of money to find out what is going on. And by paying a lot of money, it's going to mirror a wartime economy, because it's all about the economy, right? Number two, social slavery consistent with modern technology and political process. So what this means, my understanding of this is you will stay in your place. You will do what you're told. You little peons, you little citizens of the United States, in part because of modern technology, which I believe is happening right now and going to get much worse with AI, and political process, meaning the political process takes a really, 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 really long time to get things done. And typically it doesn't get anything done anyway. It's a bread circus or a pony show or something like this. You keep people wrapped up in the political process and you keep them where they're supposed to be using modern technology. And again, this is from 1967. Okay, seems like they're reading 2023 to us with this book. And the third, also very important, the threat of gross pollution of the environment. Literally the green agenda. Now, they don't call it the green agenda back then. It didn't have a name, but they're saying if you introduce the threat of gross, maybe world pollution, this is something that people will galvanize behind. They'll get behind this idea and they'll be willing to spend insane amounts of money, maybe suspend rights and things like this in order to save the planet. So think about that from the perspective of 2023. Aliens, social slavery via modern technology and politics, and the threat of gross or mass pollution. These are three tactics these people are saying that the government can deploy at any point in time when there's not enough war going on. And this is going to keep America's economy humming along. Or if we hit a bad economy or a recession or something like this, they're saying play one of these cards. And in this report, they say that these three things, along with a constant wartime economy, these are necessary to avoid collective aggression. So collective aggression would just mean the citizens in the United States, there's kind of a lull. The economy's no good. Nothing's really happening. People start to wake up and they start to come together and they're like, wait a minute, we're coming together. We demand better from our government. We're putting our differences aside. We're all U.S. citizens. What's the deal? What's going on here? But as long as you have a constant wartime economy or you're caught up in some kind of conflict or some kind of war, and you're using politics, you're using modern technology to suppress people in 2023, you're introducing alien life forms or reports of alien life forms, and you have that gross mass pollution. As long as you have that stuff going on, people don't come together because there's too much division taking place, okay? And according to this book and this report, when it was leaked out and published, at that time, President Lyndon Johnson lost his mind. Like he hit the roof when he found out that this was leaked out. He immediately began to discredit this thing. He ordered the most important people in his administration to do the same thing. Do whatever you have to do to discredit this book, discredit this report. They never denied the report, by the way. They never denied that this meeting took place with these 15 people. They just said this book is fraud. This book is inaccurate. They didn't explain why. They just began to call it a hoax and on down the line. And he actually, instructed U.S. embassies to do around the world to do the same thing. Discredit this. Wherever you're at, your main focus right now is to discredit this report. To me, it seems pretty credible in 2023. But this is me looking back on a book that was published in 1967. So let me hit you with some numbers, because Beasley coming with receipts this morning, son. There you go. Thank you, man. Since 1944, the United States has been involved with directly 87 plus world conflicts. 87 plus because there's no actual real number. All right, this includes meddling in government politics in countries we're not a part of. This involves meddling in civil wars and things. So the number is going to go this way. You know what I'm saying? A little less, a little more, depending on where you stand on that. And the 87 includes Ukraine and Taiwan. Now, some of you may not include Ukraine or Taiwan. I'm not sure why. To be honest with you, I'm not sure why. Everything we've sent to Ukraine, and recently news broke that now we're sending military aid packages to Taiwan. So we're directly involved, in my opinion. But 87 plus world conflicts since 1944, the United States has either directly funded one side and sent packages, aid packages and things, or we've used troops directly. 87 plus since 1944. So again, this report and this book actually seems pretty accurate from where I'm sitting. It seems like since the end of World War II, we've had a constant wartime economy here in the United States. You know, we have to fund the military. We have to fund the military because of this and this and this and this. Even though we're a major cause for all of these problems, we're coming in front of the American people and we're saying, hey, you know, we've got to send Taiwan money. We promised we would send them money and weapons. We've got to support Ukraine. You know, it's self-inflicted stuff is what I'm trying to say. But getting to the point of the video, America's biggest issue in 2023 is that this whole constant wartime economy is no longer working. I think it's worked well since the end of World War II, but it's no longer working. And I believe this is why they're playing all three cards at one time. You know, the digital suppression, the social slavery, and all of the political circus that we see, that's one card, again, directly out of this report. Now we're supposedly seeing, you know, aliens and UFOs. And I've seen videos of the stuff. It looks accurate, but AI, of course, is able to manipulate video and stuff. So I don't know what I'm watching anymore. That's one of the bad things about AI. I mean, it can introduce a lot of lies and deceit and stuff like that. And I mean, every single card now has been played out. You know what I'm saying? And in order for a permanent wartime economy to work, your country needs patriotism. And that's the biggest issue here in the United States. Again, there are plenty. The economy's in the crapper. All right, constant war. But we're discussing that this morning. The constant threat of pandemic, the supply line, but I think it's all linked to this constant wartime economy that is failing. It's failing because we don't have patriotism in this country anymore. Patriotism, by definition, is a love for one's country. That used to be a popular sentiment. You know, as World War II was coming to a close, people that lived here loved the United States of America. It was not perfect. Of course, people that lived here had issues with the way things were being run. But if America went to war 2 or 3 years after World War II, the masses would support that war. The masses would be behind that. They would say, yes, let's get them. United States, Rosie the Riveter, you know, Uncle Sam, all of the patriotic stuff. It's not that way anymore. You know, we kind of went from this sentiment of we must defend our way of life here in the United States. That's the most important thing, to Now the popular sentiment in the United States is, you know what, life in America is oppressive. And you see it all over the place. You see it all over social media. You see it out in public. You see it a lot on television and stuff. People point to the faults of the United States of America. And you can tell they're here. They won't leave, but they really hate this country. And they're trying to destroy everything about it from, within. And that's probably being done on purpose. But nevertheless, it leads us to the biggest problem that we have here in the United States. The question is, folks, this morning, and I'm gonna pitch this question to y'all in chat, and also, for the replay crowd, let me know where you stand on this. The question is, will all of this division that we are seeing, the division is real, will it cause the fall of the United States as we know it? Is this lack of patriotism, this hatred, all of a sudden that people seem to have for the United States of America and democracy and capitalism? I know we're not truly a democracy, we're a republic, but the idea of being free, you get what I'm saying? Is all of this division going to cause the collapse of the United States of America as we know it? Or will all of this division eventually lead us to this collective aggression that this report was scared to death of? Collective aggression meaning, you know what, this country's not perfect, but this group hates America for whatever reason. This group hates America for whatever reason. All these different groups. Will they come together and will they realize it's not America that we hate? It's the way the government is being run. This is the one common thread that most of us have. Whether you're on the far left, the far right, somewhere in between. You don't like the government. You don't like the way the government is doing things. You don't like the way the swamp is destroying the country from within. The politics just don't seem to make sense. And if people can suspend their gripes with other groups for 5 minutes and come together, you can demand better. And so are we going to see that happen, or are we just going to see the downfall of the United States? Let me know what you think in the comments, folks. This is John with Prepper Nation. Y'all have a blessed day.